Tariq Berry said, "The term Africa or African is of recent origin. No one described themselves this way until a generation or two ago." The official meaning of the word African refers to anyone belonging to a country within what is called the African continent. However, this term carries hidden connotations of a negative nature among people, unspoken publicly, yet deeply ingrained in minds. These connotations include primitiveness, slavery, ugliness, and blackness, and it is worth noting that blackness has come to be viewed with a sense of inferiority. This is the real, immediate meaning that comes to mind for the general public when they hear this term, no matter how much some may deny it or argue otherwise. The irony is that those with dark skin have adopted this word to define their identity and held firmly to it. Yet, when they embraced the word African, they did not merely adopt a neutral term. Rather, they also, without realizing it, took on the unspoken negative connotations: primitiveness, slavery, ugliness, blackness. Thus, they ended up carrying a hidden burden, bound to their very name. The irony is that those with dark skin have adopted this word to define their identity and held firmly to it. Yet, when they embraced the word African, they did not merely adopt a neutral term. Rather, they also, without realizing it, took on the unspoken negative connotations: primitiveness, slavery, ugliness, blackness. Thus, they ended up carrying a hidden burden, bound to their very name. As for the word abd, slave, its meaning has changed over history. Originally, it was associated with the Slavs, fair-skinned peoples from Eastern Europe, so much so that the English word slave is derived from Slav, because most slaves at that time were Slavs. But over time, the meaning shifted, and abd became linked to blackness and Africa, a clear distortion of its historical origin. It was a group of Black Americans who invented what is known today as Pan-Africanism, African nationalism, a movement their forefathers had no knowledge of. Their forefathers knew nothing called African or Africa. Nevertheless, this group of Black Americans decided to establish this movement, and through it, the Arab heritage of black-skinned Arabs was uprooted and shattered. Without a doubt, this movement caused many tribes and peoples to be removed from the sphere of Arabness and placed into a new race, meaningless in itself, called African. As a result, they abandoned their original Arab heritage and underwent the Africanization of their origins. Wikipedia defines Pan-Africanism as follows: Pan-Africanism is an idea that aims to encourage and strengthen bonds of solidarity between all indigenous peoples and diasporas of African ancestry. Based on a common goal dating back to the Atlantic slave trade, the Trans-Saharan slave trade, the Indian Ocean slave trade, the Red Sea slave trade, slavery in the Cape Colony, now South Africa, along with slavery in Mauritius, the belief extends beyond continental Africans, with a substantial support base among the African diaspora in the Americas and Europe. As you can see, it is as if the sole reference point of Pan-Africanism, African nationalism, is slavery. They made slavery their history and the common feature among them, attaching it to themselves and considering it their heritage. Although most of the tribes in the region had Arab legacies, they rejected any Arab heritage of those tribes and erected a solid barrier between the region and the Arabian Peninsula. Thus, unfortunately, they carried out deliberate cultural genocide to the highest degree.